the president on the appointment of a new head. Mr. Radebe replied that he had indeed consulted with the president and that the new head of the unit was now being considered. He said that it was an issue of national importance and that the nation will be kept informed. Ms. Schafer had a follow-up question for the minister.
Since Advocate Mokhatla has been acting head, she has reinstated Mziri Nyati, the head of business support, contrary to the SIU's own legal advice, stopped a disciplinary hearing in respect of the Western Cape head of the SIU, hardly ever holds executive committee meetings, and is rumoured to be on the verge of suspending the corporate lawyer who was involved in the termination of Nyati's employment last year. I'm sure the minister will say this is also a smear campaign, but there's enough evidence to the contrary. Will the minister undertake to do everything in his power to speed up the appointment of a new head who will restore stability and credibility to the SIU? Thank you.
Yes, I am very conscious about those issues, and I'll assure the honourable member that the issue of the appointment is very imminent, and as I've indicated, it will be communicated to the public. I'm also aware of the decisions that he has taken thus far on all the issues that we have raised, and I think we'll take it as it comes.
The next follow-up question came from Cope's Alfred Khanare. He wanted to know if Willie Hofmeyr had been given a choice between the Special Investigating Unit and the Asset Forfeiture Unit.
When Willie Hofmeyr was removed as the head of SIU, it was said that it was because he could not be both head of SIU and Asset Forfeiture Unit. But when Advocate Nomvula Mokhatla was allowed to be Deputy National Director of Public Prosecution and also act as a SIU head, she was doing exactly what Willie Hofmeyr was doing. Honourable Minister, will you please tell us the real reason why Willie Hofmeyr was removed, and if he was given a choice about which position he wanted to keep?
Willie Hofmeyr was never removed. What happened is that when he was first employed, he was employed as the National Deputy Director of Public Prosecutions. And when former Judge Heath was appointed as the head of the SIU, when his term of office expired, then he became the head of the SIU. This is the issue that I've been dealing with the NPA since 2009 and with Mr. Willie Hofmeyr. So he's focusing on his job that he was employed for, was with his concurrence, not that he was removed. If there's any insinuation that he was removed, it is not so. On the issue of Ms. Mokhatla, it was just a series of events that conspired at that time that made us, in particular the president, to appoint her. If you remember that the reason why she was appointed, it is because Menzi Simelane asked for long leave while the issue is before our courts. At the time, we thought that it was going to be of a very short duration. So I tried to explain that, as we speak now, the appointment of the new head is being considered in line with the decision that those people that have been appointed as prosecutors need to focus on their job. So this will not be an exception with Ms. Mokhatla as well.
As you well know, Honourable Minister, this matter forms part of the Justice Portfolio Committee report to you. And arising from the Honourable Minister's reply, given the ANC's stated commitment to fighting corruption in all forms, and given that the Special Investigation Unit forms an integral and strategic part of that fight against corruption, would the Honourable Minister agree that the appointment of Advocate Mokhatla as acting head, while she already holds down another strategic and important position, is an unhealthy situation that must be corrected so as to provide certainty in that unit?
As I indicated in my previous response, I wouldn't describe it as unhealthy, but what I can say is that it is being considered that it is not preferable that one person should hold those two important positions. It is for that reason that the appointment of a new head of the SIU is being considered by the President as we speak, in order to bring about a normality in that institution.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Can I just clarify the Minister's statement about Mr Hofmeyr? Is he saying that Mr Hofmeyr was never officially appointed as the head of the SIU in terms of the SIU Act? Because if he was, then he would have been removed.
No, that's not what I said. I was saying that when he was appointed at the time, after Judge Heath's term of office had expired, he was in fact appointed in terms of the SIU Act. So if there's an impression otherwise, I regret it, but he was appointed in accordance with the law of the SIU and Tribunals Act of 1996, I think.
On the 2nd of August this year, military veterans were awarded medals for their contribution to the country. But during question time in Parliament, Mr. Malusi Motimela of the ANC wanted to know if all non-statutory forces had been considered for medals. Deputy Minister Thabang Mokwetla replied that all former members of official non-statutory forces which had been integrated into the SANDF in 1994 were considered for the awards. MK and APLA are qualified in this regard. The parade on the 2nd of August at Bloemfontein Military Base was the first of these parades.
They will cover first all former members of Umkhonto weSizwe as part of the observance of the 50th anniversary of Umkhonto weSizwe, and thereafter proceed to honor former members of the Azania People's Liberation Army on an appropriate occasion relevant to the history of APLA. I thank you.
Mr. Motimela had no follow-up question, but COPE leader Musiwa Lekota wanted to know if the ANC Veterans League president and former SANDF General Sandile Sejaki's name had also been on the list of recipients. The general had been highly critical of corruption in leading circles in recent times.
I did not notice, and if I was wrong, I'll be corrected, was General Sandile Sejaki, one of former MK senior members, was he also decorated at Bloemfontein? I really ask you. If not, why not? Thank you.
The member in question is indeed a bona fide member of Umkhonto weSizwe, and he was not among those who received medals at the Bloemspruit Parade. The Bloemspruit Parade, as I have just said, is the first in a series of parades that are still to be conducted in honoring military veterans. Let me just explain, if the members can allow me the opportunity to do so, Speaker. The Bloemspruit Parade mainly recognized in issuing out medals members of Umkhonto weSizwe's first generation. And it is those who were involved in the sabotage campaign, and mainly the National High Command as arrested at Rivonia and the regional commands that were established under National Command throughout the country. If the members look at the set of names of people who received those medals, they'll appreciate that. Added to that, the other category, outside of the first generation that received medals, are those who belong to the Lithuli detachment, and only those identified as appropriate recipients of the Medal for Bravery in Gold, Class 1. The other categories are still going to follow. I thank you.
Who is protecting the police now that the security companies have left the stations? We'll get answers after the break. Stay with us.